Hey guys, Becky Leinert here. I wanted to take a couple of minutes to show you guys some of the information that has recently been put out by the Derby School District about the Project for Success Committee's recommendations for the facilities master plan. Basically, what the district is intending on doing, or not necessarily intending, but what's being proposed that we would have to vote on as a community and give feedback and things like that. So I wanted to share this with you guys. This is a flyer that the district that has been made available on the district website. If you go to derbyschools.com and you scroll down the page, you'll see that there's a section for this. They have a little slideshow that talks about some of the updates and things like that they're wanting to do at buildings and some of the problems that they're encountering. A little bit further down the page, they have this flyer. Now for me in my browser, it's cut off a little bit, but I was able to get the full version of it, and that's what I'm showing you guys here. It's also going to be available on the SaveDerbySchools.com website. You can check this out there. So this is a flyer, and one of the things that we've been trying to communicate over the last few weeks is that we're definitely concerned that the school district is talking about closing a couple of elementary schools. There's a fairly big price tag on the proposed plans that they've come out with, but what we've been trying to hit home with everybody is that this is not something that's just going to affect Pleasant View. It's not just affecting Cooper. It's not just affecting Oak Lawn, the community, and the families at each of these schools. This is something that is going to be affecting all elementary schools in Derby, and even according to the district's own materials. Let me show you. So again, this is the flyer, and the section that I'm going to be pointing out to you guys is the elementary efficiency and growth in Derby City Schools. That they're saying would cost about $5.6 million to make the adjustments that they're wanting to. So I'll zoom in on here so you guys can see. So they're talking about closing Pleasant View, close Pleasant View, period. Evenly distribute students among all schools to a maximum of 25 per classroom. Now 25 students per classroom is good, that's a good number, but distribute students among all schools. This is not something that's just affecting Pleasant View, guys. These students have to go somewhere. And so Pleasant View closing means that the other elementary schools in Derby are going to get bigger. This is not including regular population growth. This means that these schools are going to be seeing normal population increase, but then additional students added because of Pleasant View closing. Taking this down a little further, new shelter at Tanglewood, which is a good thing. Tanglewood needs to have a storm shelter just like all of the elementary schools do. There's been a couple of schools hit in storms. Thankfully, no students were there, but it's definitely something that needs to be addressed, and it's a good thing the district is looking at this. So new shelter at Tanglewood, which allows for growth up to 3 sections. Now, the 3 sections piece means 3 classes per grade level, up to 3 classes per grade level. And they're talking about a maximum of 25 students per grade level. So that would mean 75 students per grade, 6 grades in an elementary school. You can get a rough idea of what they're projecting the school population to be. New shelter and other expansions at Park Hill to allow for growth of up to 4 sections. So instead of just 75 students per grade level, we're talking 100 students per grade level. And there's 6 grades in a school from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade. That's 600 students potentially that they're saying could be at Park Hill. Renovations to El Paso to allow for growth up to 3 sections. Again, we're looking at the same numbers at Tanglewood. El Paso is a little bit of a different scenario because according to the frequently asked questions section for the Project for Success Committee off of Derby's website, which again is linked to on our website as well, or will be soon, it'll be up today. But they're talking about, they're anticipating the growth of El Paso to be at capacity within the next 5 years. It's not clear whether or not that includes students from Pleasant View moving over, but there's a big population increase. It was stated at the last school board meeting, something like 100 or so students are anticipated to move into the El Paso area. And my hunch would be that this is in addition to the Pleasant View students. This is not including these students. So that's a huge population increase of upwards of 100 to 200 students potentially at El Paso. And then new renovations and expansions, new expansion and renovations at Derby Hills to allow for up to 4 sections. Again, similar sizing of Park Hill, 4 classes per grade level, 25 students per class. You can do the math. And Swaney would remain as a 3-section school. Swaney, as my understanding, has had a big population increase over the last couple of years. And I've heard from some parents that there definitely have been some cultural changes and some changes in how that school is being run and the experience that students are getting there. So it'd be interesting to hear more from Swaney families to see what their experience has been like, because they've been through something like this already. But again, what the district is proposing is affecting all schools in Derby. They're saying all schools, not just 3, not just Park Hill, El Paso, and Derby Hills. It says all schools. So kids from these other schools are going to be distributed to all schools. This is a Derby-wide issue. This is not just Pleasant View, folks. This is just not just Cooper. It's not just Oaklawn. It is all schools within Derby. So we need to make sure that this information is being distributed as widely as possible, because this is affecting all schools in Derby. The entire Derby community needs to know about this, and that's what our group is for, Save Derby Schools. This is our intention, is to make sure that the entire community knows what's being proposed and that they have the opportunity to give good feedback as to whether or not they're okay with this, if they would like changes, different things like that. And that's our goal, is to make sure that the information is distributed and that the community has the opportunity to have good, solid information to form their own opinions and go forward with that. That being said, there is a cost associated with this, because we're wanting to distribute flyers among the elementary schools in different places, and there is a cost associated with printing these flyers. If we were to somehow distribute flyers within each elementary school, it would be $20 to $30 per school. We've got 9 schools, so you can do the math there. There's an investment that would need to be made. It's not a terrible investment, but there is some funding that is needed, so we are accepting donations if you are so inclined. We would be very thankful to have some help figuring out how to offset the cost of printing for these materials. We've set up a page. It's a GoFundMe page. You can go to gofundme.com/Save Derby Schools, and you make a donation there. And at the end of all of this, if there's any leftover funds, those funds will be donated back to the school district, because the intention of our group is to support the Derby community and support Derby schools. And really, that's what the school board is for. The school board is there for us, for our students, and for the families and community here. And so we want to do what we can to support them. And that's part of this group, is making sure that we're helping distribute their own information. So if there's any way that you would consider donating anything, again, you can go to gofundme.com/Save Derby Schools. If you have any questions, shoot us an email, savederbyschools@gmail.com. But again, looking at this, it says all schools, guys. It's not just Cooper, it's not just Oaklawn, it's not just Pleasant View. This is all schools in Derby. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Again, check out our site, savederbyschools.com. And if you've got any questions,